Okay, pretty red live button. We did it, we did it. And I got the camera back in the right orientation today, so that's great. Welcome back if you're joining with us again. My name is Chantel of Crazy Mom Crafts a Lot. And today is Create With Me, our live event number 2. So I'm so excited for you to join along with us. If you have subscribed to my newsletter, you will receive the weekly supply list. I send a few days in advance, and you can gather up the supplies that you already have at home. If you need to make substitutions, feel free to email me and I will work with you to see what we can do to create some substitutions because we really want you to be able to craft along with us today. Today's card, I'm going to go ahead and grab my little basket of goodies over here, and then we'll go ahead and go down. One more thing before I go and move us down. Tomorrow, if you are not aware of it, tomorrow is our mini catalog party at 2 p.m. Saturday, January 9th. So if you want to get in on that, be sure and email me at crazymomcraftsalot@gmail.com. And I can send you the information to the link so that you can jump on the Zoom Live. We're going to have some games, some prizes. We're going to go through this beautiful, beautiful catalog and check out all the new stamping supplies and card making kits and scrapbooking supplies. So it's going to be a blast. So I hope you can join in with us. For today, we are going to be doing a super fun beginner card. And if you're joining me in the comments, I would love to ask you guys some questions. I could use your help today, and I'll let you know about that here in just a minute. There we go. Okay, we should be full screen now. Awesome. And this is the fun card that we're going to be making today. This beautiful bumblebee paper comes from the new Dandy Garden 6x6 Designer Series paper pack. And this beautiful sentiment, you make the ordinary extraordinary, comes from this gorgeous new stamp set, the Simply Succulents. It is so beautiful, guys. I am just completely obsessed with this stamp set. I can't wait. I can't wait to make more things with it to share with you all. So for today, to get started, I'm going to grab our supplies and walk you through those real quick. Another thing that I have here is the envelope. Now, we're not making the envelope here together today, but you're more than welcome to do so. I'll give you guys the measurements. If you want to add some cute designer paper to the back of your Stampin' Up! Envelopes, what I cut it at is 2¼ inches wide. And then I cut it honestly at 5¾ I think. And then what I do is I just adhere it down to my flap. I'm very careful to only put a thin bead of glue along this edge on the back side here. If you put too much adhesive, you can actually end up activating, which ask me how I know, activating the glue adhesive on this side of your envelope, and then it'll seal your envelope shut before you've gotten to put your card in there. So that's no good. So if you want to make your own fun envelopes, it's 2¼ inches wide this way, and then about 5¾ inches long. And I just lay my envelope down, put my adhesive on there, attach my paper, and then I just cut off the extra. So anyhow, I wanted to share that with you guys. I couldn't remember if I did or not. And then something else that I did, and you guys can be thinking about this while we're getting started, is I did go ahead and cut this beautiful bee image out of the Designer Series paper to pop it up. And if you can see that, I've used some dimensionals and raised it up on the card. So that's why you're seeing the shadowing there. So depending on what kind of Designer Series paper you're working with today, you'll be able to do something similar. I'm just on here on our live, and I just wanted to check to see if I can get the comments to come up. So give me one quick second, if you don't mind. There we go. Hi, Karen. Oh, it's so good to have you on. So to get started, we have 5.5 inch tall by 8.5 inch wide card base. I've scored it at 4.25 inches down the middle, and I've gone ahead and folded that in half. This is a perfect beginner card. It's very simple. And one of the things I love about this card, whether you're a beginner or not, is the fact that it's a great way to use up designer series paper scraps. So I really love this card design for that. So I have a couple of 2 inch by 2 inch designer series paper pieces here. I have my fun little bumblebee. I went ahead and already cut that out. And then I have a 4 inch this way by 5.25 inch wide card front. And I actually have two of those. The reason why I have two of those is we're going to go ahead and stamp something on the inside too. Okay. And I may or may not have brought my ink for that. So I may have to jump up and grab that. Okay. Whenever I'm starting on a card that's like this, that has a sentiment, I personally like to start and stamp my sentiment first. The reason why I like to do this is if I mess up or I make a mistake, it's super easy to just flip it over and use the other side of the cardstock. Whereas if I go ahead and I adhere the card front to the card base and I make a mistake, now I've already got that adhered on and it's not so easy to correct that issue. So thank you, Karen. I think it's a cute beginner card. I love these bumblebees. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've mounted the You Make the Ordinary Extraordinary onto an I Stampin' Up block. And today I'm working with Misty Moonlight ink. And then we're also going to work with some Smoky Slate ink. And I'll have to jump up and grab that here in just a minute. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and tap lightly. And I'll try not to tap so hard that I shake you guys. You don't want to press deeply into your foam pads. You just want to tap lightly across it. And then you can check in the light to make sure you've gotten it all on there. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is just stamp this in the bottom right corner. And there we have that. I'll go ahead and close this ink pad up. And I'm going to bring in my stamp chamois. And you know what I do? I keep my stamp chamois ready to go in an empty stamp case, and it makes it super quick and easy to just wet it, keep it in there wet most of the time, especially when I'm working, and then I can just kind of brush across. Now this foam you can press into a bit, and I would recommend you doing that so that you can get into the grooves. Okay, so I'll set that off to the side. Let me grab my Smoky Slate. So what are some things you guys do? What are some card templates you guys like to work with? When you're working with scraps? So I also have my Dragonfly Garden, and we're going to work with this beautiful set. I want to call these daisies. I don't know flowers, you guys. I'm a paper crafter. If you know what kind of flower that is, help me out. I'd love, you can type it in the comments and let me know if you guys know the answer to that. What kind of flower is that? Is that just a standard daisy? Or is it a dandelion? I always get them confused. So what I'm going to do next, we talked about stamping first on our layers before we add them. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to ink up just about 3/4 of the way. I don't feel like I need to ink this totally up. So I'm going to ink it up about 3/4 of the way. And I'm going to use just a bit of scratch paper. And this is going to go in the inside. So I think I'm going to go ahead and stamp off the edge just a little bit to make it look like the flowers are just kind of coming into the card. So if you guys can see that, super cute. What a fun way to dress up the inside of your cards. Very easy, just basic stamping. Once again, I'll go ahead and clean up that stamp and I'll put the ink away so that I don't stick my hand in it because I'm really great about that. Sorry, you guys, I've been working on so many projects. I keep walking away with my supplies. Okay, so for the inside, I'm going to go ahead and adhere our layer to the inside, and I'm just using our Stampin' Seal Plus. You want to roll this evenly and then just lift straight up with the Stampin' Seal Plus. And you don't have to do a complete line if you don't want to. I just kind of cover it pretty well. And I tell you guys all the time, but if you're new, this is a new little trick for you. Whenever I'm lining a layer up onto another layer, I personally like to make sure I'm lining it up on the 3 sides. Typically, if you have your cardstock cut correctly and you line it up on the 3 sides, your 4th side, even if it doesn't have the same amount, it will look very nice. So you can see that the amount up here isn't the same as the other 3 sides, but that's okay because that's where the fold line is. So don't expect to be able to get it lined up perfectly on all 4 sides. Typically my side up here may have a little bit less space, and that's okay. That's completely okay. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and adhere the top layer, our first layer, and I'm just going to use some Tombow liquid glue. You are welcome to use the Stampin' Seal or an adhesive runner if you have that. And for those of you who are crafting along with us today, what colors are you working with? Tell me in the chat, I want to see. Be sure and when we're done today, take a picture of your card and I would love to see it and we would all love to see it. If you want to take a picture of your card and pop it in the comments section, that way we can all ooh and ah over it and get ideas from you too. Even if you're a brand new paper crafter, that's, some of the people we learn the most from are brand new paper crafters. Because sometimes we get into such a rhythm that we forget some of the basic fun things that you can do. So here's the step. I need help. So if you're on line with me, I would love to see in the comments. This is how I originally made the card. Okay, but I wanted to see what your guys' thoughts were. Should we still keep it with the bee like this? Do you guys like it better like that? Or I kind of was playing around with these paper scraps. I really love how fun this was just to use some paper scraps. So I tried it like this too, and I thought, oh, wow, I really kind of like that too. So what do you guys think? Do you guys like it better A, like this? Or do you guys like it better B, like this? Which do you think? A or B? You can let me know. A, you like A better? Oh, thank you, Esther. Okay, so we're going to do it that way. We're going to go back to A just like it is on this card. Thanks for your input. I'd love to have someone else take a look at what I'm doing too. And I'm just using some liquid glue, very easy if you're a beginning stamper. And I'm going to go ahead and put this just about as far over as it'll go. I think one of the hardest things, what do you guys think about using designer series paper, is deciding which side to use. I don't know if you guys can see that under there, but can you see how gorgeous that paper is? Oh, the blue in there is just incredible. I hate to cover it up, but it's going to be okay. All right, so we've got that one on there. How are you guys doing? Are you guys getting your cards made along at the same time today? Crafting along? If not, you can always catch the replay and craft along with us. So today's card is very simple. I wanted it to be an easy card for beginners, but I also wanted to remind you guys, if you're looking to get some of that new beautiful paper that's coming out, we got to use up our old or our older cardstock and designer series paper, right? So this is a great way to do that. And then we have our cute little bumblebee. So I'm curious to see if you guys are working with designer series paper with flowers or butterflies, puppy dogs. What are you guys working with today? Do you have an image that you can cut out by hand and add on? So to go ahead and add this little guy on, I am using the mini dimensionals. So I hope you guys can kind of see those. And I'll show you the size difference because I thought at first I thought I could get away with, can you guys see those in the light? I thought I could get away with the larger ones. Yeah, our little bee was not quite gonna fit. So I'm super excited that Stampin' Up! Has these mini dimensionals. It's perfect for things like this. So I'm going to go ahead and peel off a couple of these guys and pop them on. Do you guys have any questions? Are you guys seeing bumblebees where you're at today? I don't know how many of us are getting outside these days. I feel like I've been inside for 6 months. Right, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add this guy right here. And that's it. This was a super fast, look how fast that was. Easy beginner's card. And I just wanted to share with you guys some ways this week to use up those paper scraps, some simple stamping, and how we can get more from our designer series paper if we choose to cut out some of the images. So please, please, you can email your pictures of your cards to me if you'd like, or you can take a picture and pop it in the comments below, but we would love to see what you created today. And I know today's card was very simple, super fast, but we have a huge, huge party tomorrow. Flowers and bees, Esther. Is that the cards that you're working with too? Is that the designer series paper you're working with too? Can't wait to see. Oh, cool. Okay, that's awesome. So Esther's working with the same today. Oh yeah, I can't wait to see you guys' cards. That's exciting. Okay, everyone. That's it for today. I know it was super fast. That just goes to show you how quick you can sit down and make out a card, especially if you need a quick card for someone. Another little tip that can make your card making go much more quickly if you have to have a day where you have to make something fast is to go ahead and when you get some colored cardstock in, you may choose to go ahead and cut up a bunch of what are called card bases. So that's 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And then you score it in half. And if you don't know what that means, you just fold the paper in half and you can score it with your finger or with a bone folder. That's another small little tool, but you can just use your finger to fold it in half, especially if you're just getting started as a beginning card maker. But what I like to do is I like to cut up a bunch of my cardstock and fold it in half, and then I keep it in a little shoebox. And I keep a bunch of different colors lined up ready to go. And then another thing that I like to do, and it makes card making just so much more enjoyable for me personally. You might like to pull everything out and cut it all start to finish each time, but I like to have a couple steps kind of done. But another tip is to pre-cut a bunch of these card layers. Okay, these are called card fronts. And the measurements here are 4 inches, the white cardstock, by 5.25 inches. So to the front of my little shoebox where I have all the colored card bases, I have a bunch of these card front panels ready to go. So whenever I sit down to make a card or I'm inspired or I need a quick card, all I have to do is grab a card base, a card front, and boom, I can go with my design. So I hope that's helpful for you guys today. And I hope to see you all tomorrow at the catalog kickoff party at 2 o'clock. Other than that, we will see you back next week, and it will definitely be a much more advanced or intermediate advanced card next week. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, thank you all for joining me again today. Sorry, trying to figure out all of the technology on this end here, but thank you guys all for joining me for the super quick card, and thank you all for making the ordinary extraordinary. So I can't wait to see you all next week and tomorrow. Bye.